Imagine watching a movie that not only pushes you to the brink of throwing up, but is so intense that entire countries decided to ban it. These aren't your average jump scare flicks. These are the movies that stretch the limits of human tolerance to the point where you think, this is just too much. But then again, maybe that's exactly what you're looking for, right? Well, don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil any of these movies, so you can go enjoy watching them later, you psychopaths. Now buckle up, because today in TenXcellence, we're diving into 10 of the most shocking horror films that were so outrageous they got banned in multiple countries. Ready for the ride? Let's go! Number 10. Hostel Part 2. Banned in 2 countries. Starting off our list is Eli Roth's Hostel Part 2, a film that took the gore levels of the first Hostel and cranked them up to 11. The movie follows a group of women traveling in Europe, only to be lured into a torture-for-profit scheme where the wealthy pay to inflict unimaginable horrors. One of the most infamous scenes involves a character being hung upside down and tortured in a bathtub, a sequence that had censors in New Zealand and Germany threw their hands up in horror. The extreme violence and cruelly creative ways of killing made it too much to handle for some, although the ban only helped build Roth's reputation as a master of modern splatter horror. Number 9. The Exorcist, banned in 3 countries. William Friedkin's The Exorcist didn't just terrify audiences, it caused literal panic. The story of a young girl possessed by a demon had people fainting, vomiting, and in some extreme cases, running from theaters. Banned in Ireland, Singapore, and Malaysia, it wasn't the pea soup vomit or spinning heads that sparked outrage. No, it was the film's shocking desecration of religious imagery, like the notorious crucifix scene, that made authorities slam the door shut. Despite the bans, The Exorcist became a global sensation, earning a spot as one of the highest grossing horror films of all time. Oh, and don't forget the real-life stories of curses and accidents on set, adding even more to the movie's terrifying mystique. Number 8. Man Behind the Sun, banned in 5 countries. If you thought horror was just for entertainment, Man Behind the Sun will change your mind. This disturbing film, directed by T.F. Moe, depicts the real-life horrors of Japan's Unit 731, where human experiments were conducted during World War II. The film is graphic, too graphic some would say. One infamous scene involves a child being frozen alive and dissected, which led to its ban in China, Germany, Australia, Malaysia, and New Zealand. Critics call it exploitative, while others praised it for not shying away from historical atrocities. Either way, it's one of the few horror films that leaves you not just horrified, but deeply unsettled. Number 7. Evil Dead, banned in 6 countries. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead is a gore fest that also packs in some supernatural spooks, but it wasn't all fun and games for everyone. The movie's infamous tree assault scene, where one of the characters is attacked by possessed trees, stirred up a huge controversy. This, along with its relentless gore, led to the film being banned in countries like Iceland, Finland, and Sweden. But despite, or maybe because of the bans, Raimi's film became a cult classic, spawning sequels, a remake, and even a TV series. Today, Evil Dead is celebrated for its low-budget creativity and Bruce Campbell's unforgettable turn as Ash, but back in the 80s, it was the stuff of censors' nightmares. Number 6. Grotesque, banned in 7 countries. If you think Hostel is extreme, wait until you hear about Grotesque. This Japanese horror film directed by Koji Shiraishi takes torture porn to a whole new level. The plot: a couple is abducted by a sadistic man who tortures them in ways that are frankly too gruesome to describe here. One scene involving forced surgery was enough to get the film banned in some countries like UK, Germany, and Norway. Critics argued there was no point to the film other than extreme violence, while horror fans praised it for being unapologetically brutal. The bans, however, only made it more appealing to hardcore horror aficionados. Number 5. I Spit on Your Grave, banned in 9 countries. This one's infamous for all the wrong reasons. I Spit on Your Grave tells the story of a woman who is brutally assaulted, only to turn the tables and take revenge on her attackers in equally violent ways. The film's raw portrayal of sex violence led to it being banned in 9 countries, including Ireland, Iceland, Norway, and the Philippines. One of the most notorious scenes involves the protagonist exacting her revenge with a gruesome castration, a moment that left censors scrambling to cut it from the film. But despite, or maybe because of the controversy, it gained a cult following and was even remade in 2010. Still, it's not for the faint of heart and remains one of the most divisive films on this list. Number 4. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, banned in 12 countries. Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is legendary for good reason. A low-budget slasher that feels like a documentary. It follows a group of teens who run afoul a family of cannibals, led by the terrifying Leatherface. Banned in 12 countries, including Germany, Iceland, and Sweden, the film's gritty realism and disturbing violence were enough to leave audiences shell-shocked. The scene where Leatherface chases a victim through the woods with a chainsaw is still one of the most iconic in horror story. But as with many films on the list, the bans only helped its reputation, turning it into a classic that defined the slasher genre. Number 3. Faces of Death, banned in 10 countries. This one's a bit of cheat. Faces of Death is a controversial film that blurs the line between reality and fiction. The movie is a collection of real and fake footage of death, making it a tough watch for even the most hardened horror fans. Banned in 10 countries, including Australia, New Zealand, and Norway, the film's claim of showing real human and animal deaths sparked a wave of disgust and fascination. One infamous scene involving a monkey being beaten to death left audiences particularly horrified. Even though many of the scenes were staged, the film's realistic portrayal of death left a permanent scar on the horror genre. Despite the bans, Faces of Death became a huge success, spawning sequels and cementing its place in shock cinema. Number 2. A Serbian Film, banned in 14 countries. If there is one film on this list that is truly disturbing, it's a Serbian film. The movie follows a retired porn star who gets lured into a snuff film that quickly devolves into graphic and unsettling scene of abuse. Directed by Srđan Spasojević, the film was banned in 14 countries, including Spain, Norway, and Brazil, for its disturbing content that pushes the boundaries of taste and morality. One scene in particular, which I won't go into detail about, is so grotesque that it sparked international outrage. The director claimed the film was a political allegory about the exploitation of Serbian people, but many saw it as a pure shock value. Either way, it's one of the most notorious films ever made. Number 1. Cannibal Holocaust, banned in 40 plus countries. Topping our list is the mother of all controversial horror films, Cannibal Holocaust. Directed by Ruggero Deodato, this film was so realistic that Deodato was actually arrested and had to prove that the actors hadn't been killed on set. The movie is a found footage style horror that follows a group of documentary filmmakers who encounter a tribe of cannibals in the Amazon. The film was banned in over 14 countries, including Italy, the UK, and Australia, due to its graphic violence, including real animal deaths that caused global outrage. Despite, or maybe because of its bans, Cannibal Holocaust has become a landmark in horror, often cited as the most disturbing film ever made. It's definitely not a movie for everyone, but its legacy in the horror genre is undeniable. And there you have it, the top 10 horror films so extreme they were banned across the globe. From gore-filled shockers to movies that blurred the line between fiction and reality. These films push the boundaries of what's acceptable in cinema. Whether they were banned for violence, disturbing themes, or sheer shock value, one thing's for sure, they've left an indelible mark on the horror genre. If you enjoyed this deep dive into cinematic controversy, be sure to stick around for more insane top 10 lists right here on TenXcellence. Don't forget to like and subscribe to TenXcellence. Stay spooky, and until next time, don't watch these films before bed.